A man wants to buy a house in his parents' names so it won't be connected to his wife in any way.
Tom Brady just ended himself yesterday. I'm talking about his entire career because his wife just divorced him yesterday. She demanded half of all of his property.
Tom wasn't holding up his end of the marriage, even as Gisele told him what she needed.
His wife wrote him a letter explaining how she was upset with where the relationship was.
It takes 2 minutes to get married in the system, and about 2 years to get divorced, if not longer.
Ever notice how people react when things don't go their way?
And so when I got divorced, a lot of those parts of my personality just started popping up because it had the space and room to just come out.
Today we're getting right into a series of clips where women express their frustrations about divorce.
Today marks 1 year since my divorce was final. Wait for my pre-workout tingles to kick in while we talk about it. Some things that I did not expect to experience, besides all the sad things like the depression and anxiety and grief that come with divorce that I talk about in my other videos, but some other things that I didn't expect. Number one, having to reparent my inner child.
Reparent your inner child? What does that even mean? It sounds like one of those buzzword phrases that people throw around without really explaining them. Seriously, who comes up with this stuff? It's like they take a bunch of psychology jargon, mix it up with some self-help fluff, and hope it sticks. I mean, I get that we all have past experiences that shape us, but the idea of reparenting this so-called inner child feels a bit out there. It's like we're expected to have this whole separate part of ourselves that needs to be nurtured and guided.
There was a lot of parts of my personality that I had to suppress to keep the peace in a very high-demand religion, very intense, radically religious marriage.
Then why did you even get into the marriage if you didn't want to do something like that?
From the very beginning, you had a clear picture of what the dynamics of this marriage would be like. You knew what you were signing up for. So why is it any different now? It's frustrating to see how some women don't put in the effort for what they initially agreed to, only to shift the blame elsewhere when things don't go as planned. It's almost as if they expect everything to magically change without putting in the hard work. Instead of facing the reality of their commitment, they look for external reasons to explain why things aren't working out. It's time to own up to the responsibilities and challenges you agreed to from the start, rather than blaming circumstances or other people.
A man wants to buy a house in his parents' names so it won't be connected to his wife in any way, and she can't forgive him.
Smart.
The wife posted to Reddit saying that they've been married for 2 years. Her husband runs a business, and she's a stay-at-home mom to their child. They had been talking about buying a house, and she...
Remember how I said the poisonous frogs make themselves vibrant colors to know you should avoid them?
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Just saying here, just saying. Don't shoot the messenger.
overheard her husband on the phone with his father talking about putting the house in his father's name. That's suspicious.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
She found out later that his friend had advised him to put the house in his parents' name and then have his parents transfer it to him later so that the property wouldn't be legally connected to her during their marriage.
Smart.
She was, rightfully, furious and heartbroken. She says she caused a scene and that the house buying plan was postponed. Her husband apologized and tried to make things right by taking her for a shopping trip to buy things, but she's still sad and can't forgive or forget. Commenters on Reddit were pretty blunt, telling her that her husband was hiding information from her and destroying her trust. And many suggested that this was a symptom of financial abuse and that she should get her financial house in order, get a job, and lawyer up.
They could have simply signed a prenup. It's really that straightforward. Honestly, this guy's approach to protecting his assets by buying a house in his parents' name and then having them transfer it back to him just to keep it out of his wife's hands if things go south seems like a complicated and time-consuming route. It's way easier to just sort things out with a prenuptial agreement from the start. A prenup helps clarify what's what before any legal messes come into play. The best strategy? Find someone you truly trust and build a life together with love and mutual respect. When you marry the right person, you won't need to go through hoops to keep your assets safe. If you don't approach your marriage with this mindset, you might end up jumping through all kinds of hoops just to keep your stuff secure. Save yourself the hassle and get that prenup sorted out early. It's a practical step that can save you from future headaches and help ensure that both partners are on the same page from the get-go.
It takes 2 minutes to get married in the system and about 2 years to get divorced, if not longer.
Damn.
If you don't know, it's all a sham. It's all a scam. You know, I'm one of the rare ones that actually initiated the divorce. Usually it's the other way around. And I had a lawyer. She had a lawyer. And we ended up settling. But I settled without my lawyer, and I'll tell you in a bit why. My thing is this. If we were going to settle, why drag it out for 2 years? Why? So the two lawyers could keep making money, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
So they can bill each of us for talking to us, for sending us an email, for sending a fax, for sending some email to each other, right? My initial lawyer quoted me a price, ended up charging me like 3 to 4 times, you know, which is totally wrong. I'm not going to badmouth him, whatever. It is what it is. Like I told the judge, I'm never getting married again, because he told me yesterday, you can get married tonight. And I told him straight up, Judge, I will never get married again. You know, with a straight face, like it wasn't a joke. You know, just to shut him down and let his buddies know that I'm not falling into the system. This system needs an overhaul because it's not right at all. You understand? It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
First off, handling a divorce without a lawyer is generally not advisable. While it might seem like a way to save money or avoid complexity, the reality is that navigating the legal maze of divorce can be incredibly challenging. Divorce isn't just about splitting assets. It's about addressing a myriad of legal, financial, and emotional issues. Without professional guidance, it's easy to miss important details or make decisions that could have long-term consequences. Divorce proceedings can be time-consuming, often dragging on due to negotiations, legal paperwork, and the need for fairness in asset division. Each state or country has its own laws, and the process involves more than just filling out forms. It includes understanding your rights, dealing with custody issues if children are involved, and ensuring that all legal requirements are met. Speaking of divorce rates, look at this.
The study concludes that approximately 69% of divorces are initiated by women. This comprehensive data set offers robust evidence that women are more likely to initiate breakups across various relationship types, including dating, cohabitating, and married couples. Who files divorce more? Men and women. Wow, that's quite a bit. I actually thought it was a little bit more. Women usually want more emotional closeness and support. They become unhappy when they don't get it. This unhappiness often leads to them ending the relationship.
Just as we suspected, women initiating divorce more frequently isn't a surprise. Have you ever wondered why? Well, keeping a woman happy and satisfied in a relationship often requires a lot of effort, but it doesn't have to be a shot in the dark. If you're looking to ensure that you're with someone who's truly wife material and to avoid the heartbreak of divorce, it's essential to do some groundwork. Start by really getting to know her values, goals, and how she handles stress. Compatibility goes beyond just having fun together. It's about aligning on life's bigger picture. Communication is key, so make sure you both openly discuss your expectations and future plans. Look for signs of emotional maturity and stability, as these are crucial for a lasting partnership.
Tom Brady just ended himself yesterday. I'm talking about his entire career because his wife just divorced him yesterday. She demanded half of all of his property. However, she was informed that the court stated that her millionaire husband owns nothing. All of his property is registered under his mother's name. Yes, this is going so viral. People are saying that Tom Brady knew his wife was gonna do this the entire time, which that doesn't really make any sense. I'm pretty sure they had kids. It's kind of crazy that she divorces him as, yeah, give me half of all your stuff. Isn't he like close to a billionaire? Like, oh, I guess I owe all my stuff. Just kidding. I don't own anything, and everything is underneath my mother's name. That's the most top G thing I've ever seen. Tom just can't lose. People are showing that her estimated net worth is already $400 million, so I don't know why she demanded that half her property should be given to her.
I'm out of balance because of it. For 6-7 months out of the year, I really take on 100%. I take the kids to school, so that I become a lot more present.
It takes up a lot of my time, but there'll come a time when that ends. Gee, when do you think that will end?
Tom wasn't holding up his end of the marriage, even as Gisele told him what she needed.
His wife wrote him a letter explaining how she was upset with where the relationship was.
She didn't feel like I was doing my part for the family. And she's sitting there going, I have goals and dreams too.
Do you want him to retire? I want him to do whatever makes him happy.
When I am done playing, I really do want to be able to support her and what her dreams are, to be more flexible with schedule of time and commitment.
And when Tom announced his retirement from football, it seemed like he was finally ready to put his family first.
My kids and my family is certainly very important. They made a lot of sacrifice. I owe it to them too.
But just 40 days later, he changed his mind.
Brady says he's coming back. He has, quote, unfinished business.
He was doing a bunch of family things. I think the thought came to Tom, I do not want to be sitting there in September watching football on TV and saying, I can still do this as well as any of these guys.
But we also saw Gisele whisper into your ear, what more do you have to prove? So Tom, what more do you have to prove?
I still want to play.
I could sit here and go, well, stop playing football, so worry about what's going to happen, instead of saying, why don't I live my life in the ways that are going to be most fulfilling to me, which for me is doing what I love to do. Doesn't mean I should just stop playing because that's what everyone's telling me to do.
She had been so patient, but Gisele wouldn't wait forever. She had changed her own life in a huge way once before when she overcame an overwhelming panic disorder.
I'm a person who always likes to kind of have things under control.
In your 20s, you had panic attacks.
My world just kept getting smaller and smaller. I was trapped and I couldn't breathe.
And at one point, you went out on the balcony. What was going through your mind?
Well, because I lived in the 9th floor, it crossed my mind. If I jumped, like, it would all be over. That was definitely rock bottom for me. I was completely powerless. I didn't want to live that way.
And if Gisele could do it once, she could do it again.
I know when you're in the middle of the storm, sometimes you don't see there is a light in the end of the tunnel. I have to make some changes in my life because no one can come and save me from this.
After 15 years of waiting for Tom to put her and their family first, Gisele finally did it for herself. She told Elle magazine, I've done my part, which is to be there for Tom. I moved to Boston and I focused on creating a loving environment for my children to grow up in and to be there supporting him and his dreams. Now it's going to be my turn.
The only thing that limits us is time. What do we want to do with this time? We have to ask ourselves those questions. What are the priorities? I'm creating space so I can be a mom for my kids and figure out what is really my passion. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationships. Nothing else matters. Then if you feel loved and supported, that's what else is more important.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of this video, and if you enjoyed it, do well to click on the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to check out other videos on our playlist. We've got some amazing content for you. See you in our next video.